So first of all, I rearranged the furniture in this apartment a bit to have my two armchairs closer together. There used to be a bookshelf here with my Simone de Beauvoir books just under the picture, the print of de Beauvoir on the wall there. But long story short is I wanted to move my desk over here, and I won't show you the desk because it's covered in my work stuff, but I wanted to move the desk so that I could have all the pretty books in the background for my work Teams calls. Because I started a new position with the company I work for today, brand new team, new boss, new management, and I sort of wanted to look good and look smart with all my books in the background instead of continuing to show all my coworkers my kitchen. I thought I'll get the microwave out of the background, stop having my vacuum and broom in the background and show the books instead. So I rearranged the furniture, got my record player on this table still, ended up moving the Wi-Fi modem out of the way too, and I've got this cozy little corner here with two chairs. But that's that. So this is a little bit of a update on my existence, update on my life. First heat wave of the summer here in Ottawa, and I'm finally breaking down and ordering myself an air conditioning unit. I have a portable air conditioner on the way, one of those ones where you put the hose up through the window. It's a little bit more expensive than the ones that fit right into the window, but the windows of this apartment open sideways, and so it would take a lot of work to make it fit comfortably. Plus, I have visions of accidentally dropping an air conditioning unit down 6 stories to the pavement below. So portable air conditioning unit it is. It'll sit on the floor, hoses will go up to the window, and I'll run it only on the days when I absolutely need it. I prefer it a little warmer, but there are some days in Ottawa, especially in June, July, August, where the heat and the humidity get to be too much, and it really is sort of necessary, especially now that I'm working from home again this summer and won't be enjoying the air conditioning in the office. So that's on the way, and I've sort of justified the expense in my head by telling myself that, you know, it's for the books. The air conditioning unit is to protect all these books from the heat and from the humidity, so they don't get all moist and yellow. So it's to protect the books. But in addition to that, I do have a small stock of books that came in the mail for me over the past week. And some of them I recall ordering. There's two that I don't necessarily recall ordering. I think it was late on a Friday or Saturday night when I had been watching some BookTube, had seen some inspirations from people, and I made impulse purchases. So as I mentioned in a video I posted about a week and a half ago, I am doing some reading into metaphysics. I read 2 of the little introductions that I had ordered secondhand, and I wanted to expand my reading farther. And someone recommended to me this one, Metaphysics, An Introduction to Contemporary Debates and Their History by Anna Marmondo and Aramis Mar. And this is an Oxford University Press. And I'm afraid I just butchered the names of the authors here, but this one arrived for me in the mail yesterday, and it looks like probably the best introduction out of what I've got. I did read, I read the introduction to this introduction, and it's very clear and very straight to the point about what the authors believe metaphysics is. They say the desire to understand how things are, why they are as they are, and why they change is deeply rooted in human nature. And metaphysics they define as investigating the fundamental makeup of reality. So I think that is a very nice and concise definition. Certainly something to serve as a guiding point, a guiding light as I work my way through some of these other books. And then I thought I should probably get one of the, if not the foundational work on metaphysics. Start back at the beginning and dig once again into Aristotle. And I don't believe I've read any of Aristotle's metaphysics, but I've certainly read a great deal of his other works. And I thought, I'll just go for the cheapest edition I can find, because I don't know if it's particularly something I'm going to be too interested in reading, but I would like to explore it a little bit before digging into some more contemporary philosophers. So this is just a Dover thrift edition here, which aren't horrible. I mean, they're the cheapest of the cheap. They sell for less than a Penguin or an Oxford World Classics. So I think this was less than $10. Definitely inexpensive. And on a whim, I threw Martin Heidegger's Introduction to Metaphysics into the cart. And this is for later on in my reading, once I understand a little bit more about metaphysics, once I've read that introductory book and once I've dug into Aristotle again. So who knows, maybe I'll read this in 4 or 5 months' time. But I've got 2 more books here that, as I said, are the ones that I ordered on a whim, and I forgot I ordered them until they arrived today from a secondhand bookstore. And so I've got Aristotle's Ethics. I think I purchased it when I was watching a philosophy channel, just thinking to myself that I should read more Aristotle. And this was several weeks ago. This was before I decided to start reading up on metaphysics. And it was a very cheap edition, only a couple of dollars, I think. So just a nice Penguin Classics edition here. And I'm not sure when I'll get to that. As I said, I forgot completely I'd ordered it. I also apparently, and I vaguely remember ordering this, I ordered Robert Burton's The Anatomy of Melancholy, which I had seen it on several channels. Several people had recommended it to me, and I did not quite realize that it was such a brick of a book. So this is going on my TBR shelf, which is the black bookshelf just to my right here. But I really have no notion of when I will be motivated to pick up this book, especially as William Gaddis's The Recognitions is still sitting up on my TBR shelf, only halfway read. And the only reason I haven't picked up The Recognitions right now is because I'm trying to focus on the nonfiction, because that's what my brain is interested in reading right now. Every time I sit down with fiction, my mind starts to drift a bit. And it's not that The Recognitions isn't good, I just feel like right now I want to use my time to focus on subjects that require a deeper level of thought. So I am digging into the metaphysics, and I'm trying to get back into my studying of French. I was very politely berated by a colleague recently who nudged me and reminded me that I really should be learning French if I'm going to continue in my career path. Especially as there are people who, learned English in their 40s, and the older I get, the harder it's going to be to learn French. And, for me, self-studying at home, one of the ways I can do that is by trying to read French. And so I have a book that is only available in French and that I'm very interested in reading, and it is the Letters and Notebooks of Zaza, of Simone de Beauvoir's childhood friend. It is a French edition. I don't believe it's been translated into English, at least not that I can find. And it's several hundred pages long, but the idea, at least, and I've only done this 2 or 3 days running, is to work my way through a page of that book a day, which is extremely difficult because my French is extremely poor. And so this involves me sitting down for about a half hour with a single page and my French-English dictionary, and I'm using that pink-colored moleskin I got. I've decided that pink-colored moleskin, and I'll just grab it here. This pink-colored moleskin is for my French. I'm going to sit down with a page of this book a day, and work my way through understanding a single page. And I do have sort of fragments of vocabulary from elementary school and high school when French was mandatory, and fragments that I picked up in a refresher course I took in university, but it is very slow going. I would say about 50% of the words in every sentence, I have no idea what they mean, but I think as I go on, it'll get easier, and at the very least, I'll be familiarizing myself with vocabulary and continuing to expose myself to the language. Because everything else I've tried up to this point, I have not had the motivation to continue with. Part of my inability to learn French up to this point has been pure laziness. And so I'm going to start with something very simple, a page a day, and we'll see where things go from there. So that is more or less the update with my life here. I hope that everyone here on BookTube is well, and I'll see you again soon.